It is finally happening. There is a big change going on with the Buccaneers defense. The Bucs front office making some moves even after the regular season has begun, and we'll be projecting what this means for the Bucs defense in particular and how this projects out for just the plan for the future of this team and our Super Bowl aspirations. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back, everybody. This is some big news, and just in terms of what we've been talking about a lot here in the few months that we've been up and available. Something that it came out during the game about what's going to be going on, trade talks, all that kind of stuff. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe. 95% of viewers who aren't subscribed are the ones watching, so just feel free to hit the button, hit the bell, and join Bucs Digest so you can just join this community and get updated on all things Buccaneers like this video. I just want to get into this because I'm really interested to see how the Bucs community reacts to this and just how they feel about it in general. But the infamous player that I have mentioned on here, maybe not in the best of light, has restructured his contract, and it's a big one. So Pewter Report, Josh Quippo from Pewter Report had to reported first that they restructured the contract of Jamel Dean, cornerback Jamel Dean, with Dean taking a pay cut in exchange for being a free agent in 2026. So this is now his last season with the Buccaneers in 2025. And Greg Almond then said, I can confirm this. It's a significant pay cut for Bucs corner Jamel Dean, who was to make $12.5 million, but now will make $4.25 million this season, with another $750,000 in potential playing time incentives. Now a free agent next spring. This is clearly an indication of kind of what we've been talking about, that Jamel has really kind of regressed, has not been developing into that cornerback one that we've been looking for. There is a reason why the Bucs invested their second and third round picks in cornerbacks. We were feeling a bit undermanned in that position group, and now it feels a bit confirmed that this was something that was needed. And Jamel, as much as we appreciate him, he was there with that Super Bowl team. He has a ring with us, so we'll always appreciate that about him. But Carlton Davis ended up leaving, and Sean Murphy-Bunting ended up leaving, and Jamel Dean will be leaving the team very as expected, or what it seems like, after this season, now that he's restructured his contract. He was supposed to be here beyond 2025, but now, given what they've done here, this will be his last season with the Buccaneers. And listen, it's just, in the end, that when we're watching the game, when we're watching, this past Sunday, where they're going after Dean in particular, they're targeting Dean. It's not just because Dean's covering their top receiver. It's like he can't lock them down. He has some good moments where he can get some pass deflections and cause some incompletions, but he's not intercepting the ball. He's not forcing turnovers. He doesn't really have the best playmaking skills, and it was really evident in the second preseason game that Jamel was getting bullied, that backup quarterbacks were targeting him on deep passes, on touchdown passes, and it was a bit disheartening to see. You don't want that happening with your cornerback one, and the Bucs out front office has made it clear that they don't want it either. And so this is just kind of a big move. Rick Stroud from Tampa Bay Times had to say that Dean amicably agreed to the reduction prior to the final preseason game against the Bills. So this was after the Steelers preseason game where those things happened. The deal essentially negates the final year of his contract, which wasn't guaranteed, and makes him eligible for free agency a year earlier. Dean, 28 years old, has struggled to stay on the field, missing 9 games over the past 2 seasons with injuries. Dean started Sunday's season opening 23-20 win at Atlanta. He had 6 tackles and 3 passes defensed. However, he also dropped a potential interception and had just 1 interception over the previous 2 seasons combined. I mean, listen, you don't have to be like an interception guru or a guy who like racks up on interceptions to be a great corner. We'll see guys, who get a lot of interceptions where, you find out it seems like it was more of luck. They were in the right place at the right time. It's not really a great indicator of a great corner. Look at Patrick Surtain, the second from Denver Broncos. He has a ton of, but in the end, like Dean, it's clear that, especially in the Falcons games, this happened last year too. Kirk Cousins was targeting him constantly. He was having trouble covering the outside leverage and staying with guys speed-wise. And we were all feeling a bit frustrated that, like, okay, it feels like Todd Bowles is protecting Dean. They have like some kind of connection. They are close with each other. And it felt like he was creating excuses for Dean's poor coverage play. Like he's good when it comes to run stopping and pass rushing actually, but when it comes to like actually guarding the pass and defending, it really just he's not up to snuff, especially for a cornerback one. When we had him as like a cornerback 3 back in the Super Bowl year, and Sean Murphy Bunting and Carlton Davis were playing probably the best of their careers, then it was okay. He was a really good nickel corner at the time to really make some big stuff happen, and he played really well in the postseason that year. But ever since then, we've tried to rely on him more and more, and we gave him this new contract. We extended him. He wanted to stay here, and it just hasn't been living up to what we were expecting and wanting. And this restructure is a result of that performance from him, where it's not what we need. Defenses are not afraid to pass against him, and you can't have that. We expect more. And so Adam Sliven from Peter Report had to say, the team has saved $2.5 million in salary cap space this year, while also adding another $7 million in cash in the piggy bank. They also had freed themselves of dead cap charges should Dean sign elsewhere next offseason. This move does seemingly make that possibility a likely reality. This is clearly was discussed between Dean and the Bucs front office. Listen, we're doing this restructure so you can go elsewhere. After locking up Zion McCollum last week, the Bucs have one long-term answer entrenched at cornerback. After reworking Jamel Dean's deal, it also asserts that the youth movement is fully underway regarding the second and third round picks that we had this year. Second round pick Benjamin Morrison has yet to work himself into the picture, but head coach Todd Bowles made it sound like he would be ready to play in week 2 against the Texans. I know that was a mouthful and there was a little bit of money stuff in there, but basically what matters is that Dean has take a significant pay cut, but there was some dead money worked in that, some incentives, but we have agreed with him, listen, Dean, there's a good chance that you get benched during this year, or your responsibilities get lessened as the year goes on, as Benjamin Morrison gets healthy, as Jacob Parrish gets more reps and experience. Those guys will be elevated. Zion McCollum is probably ready to take on cornerback 1 in the meantime. And just that's kind of what the discussion was. And Dean probably obviously not very happy about that, wants the chance to play elsewhere where he can maybe be a cornerback 1 on another team. But that's kind of what's going on here, is that the Bucs are kind of voicing their concerns and just how Dean's play has not lived up to his contract, and then Dean has agreed to take the pay cut and so he can be elsewhere next year. I think this is all what the Bucs wanted in the end, our Bucs fans, because we just haven't really been very happy with his performance the past few years. Not many turnovers. It just feels like he has been really struggling to stay in front of plays and gets beat on a lot of routes. The wide receiver ones will really just abuse him, and his pass coverage grades have really suffered from it. So I think overall, he is a great person. He has a great smile. He is a great, and it fits the mold of what the Buccaneers like in their culture. But overall, when you can't cover, when you can't do the job of being a cornerback 1, where it's listen, everyone has their off games, but when it's a consistent problem that quarterbacks are targeting you, in the end, something has to be done about that. You have to, reevaluate. You have to change course, because eventually it's just going to keep tearing us up. And it's better to do it sooner rather than later. There's an understanding now that has been made after this. And actually, this was made before week 1 of the regular season. This was made after that Steelers performance, where it was funny. I had complained that Todd Bowles seemed like he was making excuses for Dean, but at the same time, it seemed like right after that game, the Bucs front office came to Dean and was like, listen, we want to restructure this and just kind of figure out a way where you can go elsewhere after this. We appreciate your services and everything you've done, but at the same time, we need our you to live up to your end of the contract here. So it's just one of those things. It's tough. It's a business, but the both sides probably understand where each other are coming from on this end. Regarding the defense and how they performed on Sunday, Todd Bowles had to say, we dropped 3 interceptions. Zion McCollum dropped 2. Dean dropped 1. We had our chances. That could have opened the game up, but they covered well. I thought we rushed well. We didn't finish the play, but we rushed well. We've got to work on closing the middle out towards the end of the ball game with those guys, not letting the quarterback run up the middle. That goes for coverage for everybody, and that's kind of me transitioning a little bit to how I just want to talk about the defensive performance from Sunday. It wasn't exactly what you wanted to see. Todd Bowles regarding Sebastian Georgiev, he said that he was up and down. Some plays he would want back from a mental standpoint. Physically, I thought he was very physical, especially in the second half. 2 plays in particular we'd like to have back on our defense. It's the first game out. He's got a lot on his plate. He does a lot of things for us. We expect him to carry those out. Obviously, he got a little anxious on those, but he'll calm down the next couple of weeks. I hope that's the case. I really do. Coverage in general, I mean, it was tough. You have Penix, who's like doing his 5th or 6th start in general, going back to last year. He looked really good out there, and maybe that's just because he's a good quarterback, and they're doing a good job of coaching him, and he has good intangibles, and it does seem like he has a clutch factor. But at the same time, the Bucs defense has to do more, and the offense wasn't perfect by any means, but we weren't getting home on the pass rush, and that obviously will affect how the pass defense is going, like the coverage. If you're sending 4 guys, they're not getting home, the blitzes aren't working, the pass coverage is going to suffer from it because someone's going to be open, especially on a blitz. So that's just kind of how it felt. Hassan Reddick only got his 1 sack, and Yaya Diaby, these guys are closing in. We did a great job of stopping the run and limiting Bijan Robinson and Algier and all that stuff. I mean, not the first drive, but everything else afterwards, basically pretty much we did. But we would close in with the pass rushers, and then Michael Penix would run up, get a first down, or just escape pressure fairly often. And it was pretty frustrating to see, even though I thought our QB spies and Sebastian actually didn't do a bad job of trying to tackle him, especially on that 4th and short that he ended up extending well beyond I thought what was possible for him to extend. But he's a tall guy, he's lengthy, and he really made some great plays on 4th down. And then the play where Kalijah Kancey tried to tackle him before on 4th and goal. So, I mean, I have to give credit to Penix. He managed to keep his leg up while being pulled down to get the ball over the goal line. Those are 2 incredible plays by Penix. I think that was much more about Penix making a good play than it is about the defense letting something happen. Now, obviously, you want to let that motivate the defense so that it doesn't happen again, so we don't allow 2 4th downs in a row to be converted. But at the same time, we won. Penix played really well. It's really just about defensively, how can we get tighter? How can we finish plays? Because a lot of these plays came from Penix scrambling around and the pass rusher not able to get there. And so it's really about the defensive line working together and really just I mean, they were going up against a backup right tackle, and that's what's frustrating about it to me is that when you have an opportunity like that, we have all starters on our defensive line, and you can only get 1 sack in a really tight divisional game. It's not going to put much pressure on Penix. He's going to be able to continue to make plays and make throws confidently. He's not going to be rattled where you really this is the kind of game where you want to get in his head and feel like he's seeing ghosts. He doesn't know if a guy's coming around from behind him. So I want to see more from Yaya Diaby. That he's a veteran at this point with the Bucs. He can't make any excuses. We need to see more out of him. We can't have our defensive tackles be the only ones who are making sacks. Now, thankfully, Hassan Reddick made his first sack with the Bucs in this game, and it was a big sack on 3rd down. But 1 sack in 1 game, we're gonna need more. We're gonna need turnovers as well, as Todd Bowles mentioned. We had some dropped plays. Zion had some dropped interceptions, and Dean had 1. I really need those guys to go out there and work on the jug machines and work on situations, not where you're just standing up and catching a ball right in front of you. Make sure to just catch a ball low, catch a ball away from your body, because I don't know. It's just frustrating to see those guys work on those jug machines, and then in the game you have it land right in the breadbasket, and it falls right out. And I won't pretend that I could do it any better than them. I cannot. I don't want to ever say that. But it's, at the same time, when Coach Bowles is calling it out, it means that's a thing that they need to work on. And so overall, defensively, Sebastian Georgiev, I expect better play out of him in the future. I think, like he said, his feet was just getting wet. He was just trying to, get back into regular game NFL speed because it has been quite a while for him, almost a year. And, overall, Kyle Pitts, once again, was doing really, really well against our defense. Lavonte just feels like he has a hard time covering him. And but thankfully, as long as we win, that's what matters. And, the guys they're back in form. And I expect some big things out of the defense next week when it comes to the Texans. Banged up offensive line. They don't have Tunsil anymore because they traded him to the Commanders. So this is once again an opportunity for the defensive line to step up. Now the Texans defensive line is also ferocious, but this video is specifically talking about the Bucs defense and how they should be able to take advantage of these opportunities going forward. This is another away game. It's another hostile environment, but we just got away with a close divisional win. We haven't seen the Texans in a while, or actually in a couple of years, since Stroud and Baker had like a shootout. But I expect this defense to perform better than it did then. And that they want to. They have more tape on Stroud now and expect bigger things out of him. So I am looking forward to that rematch. And also the rematch with Penix much later down the season. I want to see the defense a little bit more motivated to, not just stop the run, but stop the pass as well. Because it's almost an expectation that the Bucs are going to have good run defense. It's not a guaranteed thing, and it's always been a constant worry that our pass defense just can't hold up. So anyway, the Dean news is big. Let me know down below, what do you think about this Jamel Dean news? Are you relieved that this is his last year with the Buccaneers? Would you rather we just trade him for like a future draft pick? I personally feel like we, with the injuries that our secondary typically sustains, we need extra guys here just to, fill that role of corner. But maybe Zion could take on cornerback one responsibilities even next week. We'll see what happens. But overall, I feel like this is a good move. And it once again feels like the Bucs front office has the best interest in mind of the team, that they're not just being loyal to their guys, that, they in the end they have to. Well, I mean, while they are a very loyal front office, they don't take that loyalty to the person over the success of the team, especially if they're not playing well. So overall, I want to see more out of Dean. Maybe he'll use this to motivate himself to have a better year, and we can have a different conversation at the end of the season. But right now, I think it's a good move. Let me know down below, how do you feel about the defensive performance from the Atlanta game in general? What do you think about the Dean restructure? And just, let me know in the comments below. And get ready, because we'll have a lot more news coming out as the week progresses. Practice starts again tomorrow for the Buccaneers, getting ready for the Texans. And I will see you in the next one.